All right, everyone, we have to talk about Tommy Robinson again. His lawyer is claiming now that the judge in the case, during his 30-minute long trial, which is a huge miscarriage of justice. There's a lot of updates that I have to talk about here, at least in brief. His lawyer is now claiming that the judge didn't even watch the entire tape of the incident for which he was jailed. That is, at the time, Robinson was apparently on this tape. He was told basically about restrictions on reporting about, basically what was happening at the trial venue. And he was like, yeah, I know. And, then goes forth and everything happens. The police come and drag him off to jail, basically, because he basically got railroaded by a kangaroo court. He didn't even get access to his proper lawyer. Had a public defender that I guess told him, oh, just plead guilty, don't worry, the judge will just give you probation again or something. There was some fishy shit going on. They probably do want him to be silenced. I don't think they want him killed, because then he becomes a martyr, and no sane person would ever actually want to kill a public figure that's, maybe that well known. Because it just ends up hurting you. It makes you look very, very bad if that happens. But you do want to throw him in jail and silence him. So, they'll probably just toss him in solitary for the next 10 months. Keep him safe from people that want to throw acid at his family, apparently. That's the other part. His family and of course, him as well, are all being intimidated on a regular basis. Meanwhile, a lot of the British public appears to think that he's still a Nazi stormtrooper or something. I don't get that feeling from him. They say, well, he's Islamophobic. Well, criticism of religion is not a phobia. I criticize Christianity. That doesn't make me Christophobic. It means I look at the doctrine, or I look at the history of Christianity. I'm like, it's uncomfortable to me. Organized religion generally is not a good thing within mankind. If we look at its effects on the realm of human existence, primarily negative. Spirituality is really positive. When it becomes organized and you have a priest, an imam, a cleric of some sort or something telling you what to do, typically it gets misused by the political structure or the cultural structure of whatever society you happen to be in. So it wouldn't surprise me, actually, if the judge didn't look at the tape, because it was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen. Look, all he was doing was standing there with a phone saying, basically there's a trial going on. It's a grooming gang, blah, blah, blah. And there are a lot of people, it's like... Sometimes you see people who are really, pro-gun. They're pro-Second Amendment. Here they'll say, but another person, their opinion is disqualified from being taken seriously because they were arrested on firearm charges in some draconian state where people aren't allowed to have firearms. And it's like you're a hypocrite. You're not understanding the way the world actually works. You're fixated on the legalistic side of things, like literally the statist side, rather than the ideological or philosophical side of what you're actually arguing for. It's kind of interesting. The same is true here. You have people who are defending the UK because, Robinson broke the law. It might have fucked up the trial, but the system itself is corrupt. The actual law itself is the problem. Tommy Robinson is not a problem for breaking a law that is in the first place totally illegitimate. Look, here in the United States, you wouldn't get arrested for that. It's an illegitimate law. It's not going to endanger the trial if you are recording outside and talking about a grooming gang or something. How is that going to taint a jury pool? How many of the people would even watch his broadcast? It doesn't make any sense. The fact that it would be considered a legal defense, and I don't believe it worked anyway, so pragmatically, where's the harm done? The fact that in the UK you could use as a legal defense, Tommy Robinson was outside aiming his fucking iPhone at the door, and so we can't get a proper jury for our trial. That's nonsense. That's totally, totally wrong. And by the way, where was the jury when Tommy Robinson was thrown into prison? Where was that jury trial? Where was his day in court? Where was anybody to talk about his case? Oh, that's right, they weren't even allowed to talk about it, because in the UK you don't have freedom of speech. You have whatever the fucking government and whatever local judge happens to tolerate you saying. There you go. It's illegitimate. Therein lies that's the issue that I focus on. It's bigger than just Tommy Robinson. He's one person. But you've got other people being abused in the UK too for speech-related reasons. Someone made a tweet, it was considered offensive, the bobbies show up to write him a ticket. You gotta fucking pay for a TV license even if you don't watch TV. It's the most asinine, strange, dystopian place I can think of. It's weird, honestly, looking at the way that the UK works from a distance, from this side of the pond. It looks weird how people can stand living that way. It's like, okay, we've got the English breakfast and some good ale, so I guess we don't care. I guess that's how it works. It's like, yeah, I've got my fish and crisps, so I don't really care so much. You know, the government, yeah, the country, we used to be the #1 in the world. We were total empire, biggest in history. Now we're one island, basically, and a little sliver of another, and part of this island wants to secede. We're slipping behind former colonies as well as other half-assed nations. Yeah, but things are fine. Everything's okay. How can you deal with that? I don't understand it fully. Tommy Robinson broke no legitimate law, and I do take this into consideration when I'm talking about things. Some laws are illegitimate. They are inhumane. They breach the fundamental ethics and principles of simply being human. They leave no human dignity behind, and they shouldn't be enforced. Here in the United States, the drug war. The drug war is legally codified. It's been declared constitutional with kind of faulty logic. That doesn't mean it's just, it doesn't mean it's right, it doesn't mean that it works, and it doesn't mean it is truly on any objective measure constitutional according to the founding principles of this nation. It is an illegitimate war that we wage, and we do it primarily so that some intel heads can get money from cartels. That's fundamentally what it's about. That, and originally we imposed it because of petrochemical industry and pulp paper and things like that. That's why it exists, and then it fed into anti-communist propaganda in the 50s and 60s. That's why we have a drug war today, despite the fact that we can demonstrate that it has failed. We've got decades of history showing that it's failed. It's ruined a lot of lives, far more lives than drugs ruin. We know these things. We can objectively quantify them. Those laws are totally inept. The scheduling system is objectively wrong, even according to its own formulation. The fact is that the drug scheduling system in the United States, it's not even rightfully applied. If it were, then a lot of legal substances would be, actually, like tobacco would be a Schedule I substance. It's highly addictive. It's highly dangerous. It has no medical benefits. Well, then why isn't it completely banned? Oh, that's right, we export a lot of cigarettes. No, I don't think it should be banned at all. I don't think any drug should be banned, but you get the principle. They don't even adhere by their own rules. UK. Let's say someone technically has breached the rules, but they're like a lamestream journalist. Do you think that they'd get dragged away for 11 months in prison? No, if it were anyone other than Robinson, I don't think that he would. It doesn't matter what his political affiliation is. You can think he's a bigot. You can think he's a vile person, just a despicable human being. Believe what you want. He still should not be bound by illegitimate laws that are inappropriately being enforced within the UK. I'm still struggling to figure out exactly how you can possibly justify such restrictions on reporting reality anyway. Oh, well, the reality is too dangerous for the public. We're going to restrict you from even hearing about it. To the point where somebody like me, people in the UK, word of mouth style, have to take info from the UK. They can't report on it publicly. They have to talk privately to like an American or someone in France or Sweden or something, and then they have to report on it, so that then people in the UK can then go back to it and actually read what's happening. Why does this make any sense? And how does it make sense to try to restrict broadcasting? Just thinking pragmatically. Is it sensible to suggest that in today's internet era, you can actually restrict it anyway? No, what happened is that Tommy Robinson went totally viral. It would have been a local or regional phenomenon. People in England would have been kind of up in arms. Everyone else would have ignored it if there hadn't been restrictions placed on reporting about the fact that he had been rearrested for probation violation. The judge in that case almost sealed the fate of the UK's government in regards to this situation by imposing the broadcasting restriction on the case to begin with. It only lasted a couple days, but for those 2 days, 10 times more people were talking about it, because it was taboo, so it was cool. This is what happens. You can't censor anything, especially not in the information age. Good luck trying. Plenty of people who have been consistently trying to deplatform alt-media voices have learned the hard way. They just come back twice as strong. A few people quit, and, they're like, well, I'm being demoralized because, my YouTube channel got banned. I got banned on Facebook or whatever. My Twitter page got taken down, and now Jack is, abusing me or something. Yeah, but, everyone else just moved to alt-tech. or they made a new account, or they spread out to other sites, or they did a million other things to push their message, and they become stronger when it happens. And it's going to keep happening. That's why the alt media will win. You simply can't stop it. It's impossible. That's about all. Peace out.